I want to introduce you to a tool that we're putting out here from Singular called openRMF. So openRMF aims to actually help the security assessors, cybersecurity professionals, anyone that has to deal with DoD, federal government, state government, that has to actually fill out these big checklists, these big manual checklists in the Java tool, run through, do them hand by hand, file by file, generate reports, generate counts, generate your compliance and everything else manually. We're trying to take a several week-long process of comparing all these checklists and generating your compliance down to a matter of minutes. So if you're used to what I'm just saying here, you're used to doing your checklists and everything else, this tool right here is what you're probably used to. It's a Java tool. It's looked the same for the past decade or more. It has a little bit more information in here than it did 10 years ago, but pretty much it's the same. Here's your checklist. Here's your category 1, 2, and 3. Change your status. Select what you need to do. Not a finding. Not applicable. Go through and do for each checklist. The challenge is that your systems, you're going to have one or more checklists per host and one or more hosts per system. These checklists right here get into the 40 and 50 checklist range for a system. It's very hard to manage manually, and it's very time consuming. So what did we do? Well, at Singular, we're working with Tutela Security as well to work on this tool right here. This is open source right now. It's actually up in GitHub. You can pull it down right now today. GitHub.com/Singular. But we're working to take this information here from NIST and compare it to the checklist and generate your compliance for you. So what do? You run this tool, you upload one or more checklists into the tool, upload and save. It will actually give you your checklist. It will find your amount of items that are not a finding, not applicable, open, and not reviewed yet. In general, as well as per category in a listing here, you can export to Excel and send to your management if you want, just to give them a status update. You also can click on your checklist here and see the same information here, get your asset. More importantly, you can look through your vulnerability IDs, look through your vulnerabilities and filter on the ones you want to look at. I'm not worried about not a finding or not applicable. I only want the open and the ones that are not reviewed. So you can click on here and look quickly and act quickly. You can do this from a central location. You can do this without passing around a checklist file through email and then losing track of the configuration management on it. That's a big deal. You also can come through here and download the checklist if you need to update it in the tool, or export to Excel. You export to Excel and you can actually get a color-coded version of this, one row per vulnerability, color-coded by status for you to email out to people so that they can use this again very easily and very quickly. The power actually is in the compliance reporting. So I have one or more checklists. Let's say you have 75 checklists. You have 10 systems, 5 checklists per system. You also have a network device, so you have 5 or 6 checklists there. You have a couple applications that are homegrown. You have some ASD checklists there. Click on here, click generate. What this does for every single checklist for your system, it will compare every vulnerability and all the listings in the status, compare the vulnerability with the NIST control that it belongs to, and give you a summary of all of those within seconds. This could literally take you weeks to do. Weeks. For a large system. We got it down to a matter of minutes or less. So right now it does a top level. So as an example, AC8, system use notification. We see right here the RHEL worker 1 right now. That's having a challenge where it's open. Some other ones aren't reviewed yet. So you click in here. The vulnerability IDs are actually filtered down for your checklist to the control you're looking at. So you can quickly and easily figure out which one is open. Get a hold of somebody, get their attention, and get them to go look at it very quickly. Assessors can use this to quickly find the issues that still remain open that you need to POAM. Your sysadmins and your cybersecurity professionals can look at this quickly and say which checklists actually need the most work. You can go through page by page, look at the results. You also can come up here and start typing. So if you know there's a SQL server, SQL, and filter it down very quickly to get your checklist that just pertain to SQL Server or your web server. So again, it's a very quick way for you to manage the massive amount of data you have related between your checklist and your RMF controls, generate your compliance, and figure out where you need the work done on your system to get it to a point where you go after your ATO and you know exactly where you stand.